Portraits of a Marriage by Sandor Marai. I have some Hungarian friends who have lived in Rochester for many years, and I was introduced to them a couple of years ago. And, you know, they just happened to mention one of their very famous writers. And of course I was appalled that I hadn't heard of him. But he had just started to be translated into American or English probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And so I wasn't that far behind in the translations. The first book that I read was Embers, and I found it utterly engrossing, very interesting in terms of the historical perspective. He was writing it about the early 1900s, and as many, through the First World War, through the Second World War, many of his stories are based in, that time frame, as well as the era of the loss of empire, what happened to the various classes of people after the war, how it affected their lives, how it affected their cultures, how it affected their societies. So, having now read at least 4 of them, this one was just published this year, The Portraits of a Marriage, and I know that this is going to be depressing. But it is also going to be one of those books that you cannot put down, that you will experience a culture, a sense of time that you would not otherwise be able to, which of course is something else that the translation of this book is very important, and it is so beautifully done. So it's translated from the Hungarian by George Zertzis, I believe is the pronunciation, which again is something that you have to give these people credit for, how they master both the language and the meaning and all the idiosyncrasies that are involved in the cultural differences between Hungarian and English. So he's done a beautiful job in the previous 2 novels that he has translated. So again, wonderful book, great author.